Hello YouTube and welcome back to another episode of Step by Step with your host. That's of course me, the LilDM. I don't know if that's gonna stick or not, but anyway, I'm the LilDM and here we're making a creepy mausoleum to entertain our players during the spooky month. Anyway, let's get into it. We are doing the regular things. We are doing our grid, and this time we're gonna black it out. We're gonna black it out, kind of like the goblin caves, kind of like the spider cave or the spider nest, and then we're gonna do a big building. And this is how I kind of measure things. Is you do one section at a time. So you see there's one layer. We're taking out 3 by 3 by 3. We're taking those out. And we're kind of just shaping our mausoleum currently. And mausoleums are kind of weird shaped, honestly. They're shaped in a way that allow bodies to essentially be comfortable in them, which is a weird thing to say, honestly. So we'll go ahead and grab that, and then we'll go ahead and get that ready. And then in the back, we'll go ahead and add all the grass and stuff, pretty much all the stuff that we just blacked out. And then we will get that done. Super easy. If you're filling in stuff like this, you could do just all grass, but the black kind of helps me when it comes to like determining like length and stuff. So that's why I did that. We're gonna go with a little shorter entrance as well. We're gonna go with this brick teal wall. And this one doesn't really have the caps I want. And what I mean by caps is every corner you see, every little dot you see should have a cap, indicating like the end of a wall into another wall, which doesn't really seem. I don't know. I just really like caps because it entertains the fact that there's more work done in a build. So we're gonna go ahead and put those on the corners there, and it just looks so much better. It really does. It looks a little like chunky, and I think we kind of size them down a little bit. Maybe not. We're gonna go ahead and grab those right there. Again, you can always Control Z anytime you make a mistake. And then we're gonna lock everything in place. We're gonna put it to level 2 and then lock everything in place. Alright, now for the door. Went with the regular door, a double wide door. Again, super skinny, so you gotta thicken it up a bit. Again, I'm not a big fan of how skinny the doors are. They're hardly noticeable to my players. So you really got to thicken them up, and they look ridiculous on the map. But when your players are on one side of the door, they see the other side, which means they don't see how thick and ridiculous it is. We're going to go ahead and do the path. We're going to do some just large stones. We're going to do some large just broken stones as the path, and we're gonna say it's an old path. Sure, it makes sense. I'm gonna put some dirt on it. Love just taking the dirt and scaling it down and scaling it. Like, you can make dirt really dark, and it really brings out a lot of the details in dirt. And then we're going to go over it with the stones, kind of poking out of the dirt. And there we go. And then we're going to do that outside. We're going to do some dead trees, just because it's fun. You know, spooky themed dead trees. Makes sense for a mausoleum. And then kind of dot those around. Again, how I do it is the middle of the tree, the trunk, is something that I put a circle in the dynamic lighting on my Roll20 games to represent the trunk, meaning you can't see past it, which is super fun for my players. And here we're going to start getting some creepy fog. In fact, I think these are technically clouds, but I'm treating them as fog because why not? Fog's good. Creepy, intense, scary, kind of gives off that vibe that maybe inside the mausoleum is better than outside the mausoleum. And then, of course, we're gonna lock everything in place. You don't have to do that, by the way. I just think of it as like painting. If you're drawing or sketching your outlines and stuff, painting kind of makes it a permanent fixture on your easel on your paper or whatever you're painting on. So in this case, I basically lock everything because I want it to stay there. I want it to be part of the finished product, so I lock it. If I do end up changing it, you can always go down and scroll and unlock them as you see fit. So I wanted to do like stained glass, but the only stained glass kind of thing that they had wasn't really doing it for me. So I was like, all right, well, we'll do some moonlight. Moonlight's good. It works, and it's effective, especially in a mausoleum. And we'll go ahead and make that super bright and super white. All right, so these little sections here, I'm gonna put some gates, and these are essentially where I'm going to be putting these tombs, these large stone coffins, essentially, representing specific people or sometimes certain families. It really just depends. Here we go, and each one is going to have their own section. And then I decided, if someone is burned, their urns can sit on some pedestals over here. So we go over here, we grab a small like stone pedestal, and we're gonna resize it and put that right in the middle. We're gonna put it on the right layer, and we're gonna put it kind of in the middle. Just kind of dot them here and there, and then of course on the other side as well. Just very simple, very easy doing it. Basically 90%, I want to say 90% of your job as a map maker or as a DM is decorating. It really is. Keep in mind that you've made a lot of changes. Consider saving your work, because that does come into play a little later on, that I didn't save my work. But anyway, here I am going ahead and putting the middle in each one a small coffin, represented by, you can have them be represented by different houses. You can have one side be one house, the other side be one house. I went with random because I kind of figured this would be a people's grave, so if it is a family, they would be buried with their family in the mausoleum itself. So it's not a big deal if people are like around each other or surrounded by other people that were laid to rest in a mausoleum. So here we got all of those. Now it's time, I think, for some details maybe. So we went with an unlit chandelier, and then you want to change the occupancy and put up the contrast. So the occupancy basically lets you see through it, but the contrast lets you see the details on the thing that it is. Don't forget to change those settings back, because they will keep the occupancy its opacity. I keep saying occupancy. I really am sorry. Maybe that's my brain working for you, but here we are adding some candelabras. Here we are adding some statues. We're just gonna turn those and again resize them. Always resize stuff if you can. It makes it look like you actually made an effort and put some effort into where things are and what things are. And now we're gonna go ahead and add some braziers, some unlit braziers. Sure, why not? We'll add that there. And I figured, what would they, like, these braziers kind of, if it were on fire, what would the light hit? And I was like, oh, a tapestry. They have tapestries back in the day that they hung for family or for like a war or something. So it has all the names of the people that were lost at war. And we just copied and pasted that essentially on the other side, which was really cool. I liked it. And here on these, we decided to go with, I think we went with, yeah, some bronze statues of horses. Now these are huge, so I immediately resized them to kind of fit, and we put them in an awkward position. We put them essentially in the middle of 6 squares, and then we flipped it around and put it on the other side as well. Kind of like guardians of this mausoleum, if you will. Taxpayers, you know, at work essentially. And then we went and started putting those pedestals over by each and every grave, because that makes sense. They would buy the pedestals because if any of their family members were in urns, they would want to be buried with them. And there we go. And in the middle here, we went with a fountain, or a dry fountain. See, these fountains do have water, but I went with a dry one because it wasn't maintained. And then you resize it, and then it looks pretty good. And there, here's when it kind of shuts down on me. I'm gonna spare you the footage as it is very epileptic. But my computer decided to flash and crash, which is graphic override essentially, and then computer shutdown. So all of that progress was lost. So when I say save your progress, please save your progress when it pops up, because I had to do all of this all over again. Every detail that you saw, I had to redo, and I added some things. If you look at the finished product, it is not exactly what was seen being made, but it is the finished product, and I like to think I did a pretty good job. As you see, I added some, what you want to do is kind of personalize all those graves. So some people got flowers. I think one of them, I had someone throw some wine or blood in, and then a Molotov cocktail, so it's all burnt up in there. And then other ones where there's a bunch of candles, some rich ones, so like there was a king one, and I was like, put some gold in there, you know. But anyway, that is essentially, I'm gonna leave it up just a little bit for this entire like explanation, so you guys can get a good look at it. I do apologize, not normal, obviously, thing to do, but like I said, it does happen. And it is, unfortunately, I mean, fortunately for you, this map is available, this new map is available on the Patreon. Again, all the maps, every single map is just $1 a month. You can come in, grab them all, and skedaddle if you want. It's not a big deal. I don't hold anyone back from doing it. I've had multiple people come in, grab what they want, and leave and say thank you. By all means, do that. If you want to stay on, I appreciate it very much, and any future maps that go on there, you will be notified and can take full advantage of. With that being said, I want to thank you very much for watching. Please do the YouTube thing, like, comment, subscribe, make the LilDM that much bigger, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.